that's where David, he's not challenging him on some like deep intellectual questions and deep meaningful like wisdom type of, no, it's just really simple questions that he doesn't have the proof or the answers. And maybe, just maybe, that's why people are looking at you, Cenk. Hey, yes, kind of sucks, yes. People are looking at you like, what are you doing? It's looking a little sus. So Cenk himself is now, in my opinion, let me know in the comments down below. I haven't seen every single interview that he has done and this, but the ones that I've seen from start to finish, with Mark Lamont Hill, Francesca, Brian, and now David Pakman, in my opinion, he is 0 and 4. Not even like a half a point. You know, so like he gets I guess an A for effort for going on to these shows and getting grilled the way that he did. He could have stayed home and just, you know, just tweeted and you just ignore people's comments. But I gotta give him an A for effort for at least going out here and knowing it's a possibility he's going to look like a damn fool. And in my opinion, he's looking like that damn fool. If you don't know what a damn fool look like, it's Cenk. You know what I'm saying? And I say that with respect because, like I said before, and I don't care if people go crazy in the comments, my opinion is I don't think he's in grifter territory just yet. Once again, I don't know everything, haven't seen everything, so, but I think he's just too optimistic in thinking that he's such a swell guy that people are going to look beyond their racism, look beyond their stupidity, look beyond their party lines and say, Cenk, you're such an amazing person. I see the light now. I understand that reading and writing and comprehension, like, that means something to me. No, they don't care about that. And I love the way, and this was a really quick kind of interview that they had with Cenk and David Pakman. I wish it would have been a little bit longer so they can kind of get into the details. And, you know, this is normally something I would cover the entire debate because it's only 26 minutes, but I kid you not, he filibustered most of this conversation, and one is stuff that we've heard before. I done listened to 4 interviews. It's essentially the same stuff, and he just goes on, and honestly, I don't want to bore myself listening to that over and over again. So we're gonna start at the 16-minute mark because that's where David, he's not challenging him on some like deep intellectual questions and deep meaningful like wisdom type of, no, it's just really simple questions that he doesn't have the proof or the answers. And maybe, just maybe, that's why people are looking at you, Cenk. Hey, yes, kind of sucks, yes. People are looking at you like, what are you doing? It's looking a little sus, you know, but don't take my word for it. Let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, so I got a question for you. Do you value your privacy and your security, and especially with all your information being accessible to anyone and everyone on the internet? Well, I'm excited to bring to you today's sponsor of this video, Aura. There was approximately 800,000 reports of identity theft in the first 3 quarters of 2024 alone. Credit card fraud remains the most prevalent form of identity theft, with about 300,000 cases reported. And the United States continues to experience numerous of data breaches throughout various industries, compromising your financial and personal information just like millions across America. Aura is the all-in-one digital security solution that protects your identity, finances, and personal information online. With Aura, you get real-time alerts for suspicious activity, VPN protection to keep your browsing private, and even dark web monitoring just to see if your information is out there where it shouldn't be. So once again, stop leaving yourself vulnerable to data breaches. Click the sponsor link down below to get 14 days free to see if your information, your data has been exposed. Back to the video.
That asks of his donors, and that's how he's going to start. And if his base doesn't challenge him, that's how he's going to end.
Did the base challenge him last time? Like, what evidence do we have this time they'll challenge him?
So that
right off the bat, hey, what proof do you have that this happened in 2016 when he was doing all this crazy stuff? And it's a lot, trust me. What proof do you have of the past that that's going to kind of take place now? You got none, but let's hear him talk.
That's what I'm getting to. So, David, you're right. In the first term, which now was a long time ago, the base didn't challenge him at all. Okay, if Trump said something, they parroted it and it was over, right?
Yep.
Now, when I go on those shows or I put on X, hey, you know that Rubio, Stefanik, Walz, and Huckabee are neocons, and they're going to try to drive you into war. Wall of thousands of comments. You're totally right. We're worried about it. We trust Trump. Let's see how it goes. But
so just right off the bat, okay, and trust me, he's going to be talking a lot. So yeah, just spare me the you're talking, okay. Let's just say that is true, okay, that he gets thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Let's say he'll post something on Twitter and get 5,000, no, 10,000 comments of Trump supporters, of MAGA, not people on the left or independent or kind of flirting with being Republican. No, we're talking about straight up MAGA dummies, okay? And let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Even though I don't think this is true, let's just go with this scenario, okay? That they're all saying, you know what? It sounds like it might be true. We're going to keep our eye out. You know, we're still going to support them, but, you know, we'll be aware. Okay, let's just take Cenk's word for that. My opinion, okay, this is just mine. Tell me if you agree or not. My opinion, that 10,000, okay, does not reflect the 74 million people that voted for Trump. That 10,000 doesn't mean nothing. Nada. Zero. Zilch. Nothing. Like that doesn't mean nothing, Cenk. That's not statistical data we can like eat good off of. You know, got some meat on that bones. No. I run a poll all the time on my YouTube channel. I can't take this to a credible conversation and say, look at what my voters have said. You know, 1,000 people. No, that's a small pool of people who already agree with me. You know what I'm saying? So like these small little like, oh no, I had thousands of comments. Cenk, I'm sorry. At least to me, in my opinion, that doesn't give any credible to anything. But okay, my bad. Let's continue.
But we got an eye out for it. Like they're totally aware that they're neocons and they don't like it. So Hegseth is a different animal because he's partly neocon and partly like meathead, and they like the aggro part of Hegseth and the military part.
Yep.
But they're not going to like the neocon part. And if I'm right about any of this,
yeah,
war is where it breaks, where the base then says to Trump, no, brother, we told you anti-war. We didn't go tell you to help Israel invade Iran. No,
I'm not even sure about this. And I think this is really, I don't know that this is an ideological disagreement. I just don't know that we're on agreement on the facts. I'll give you a counterexample to what you're talking about. Yesterday, Trump does this crazy press conference at Mar-a-Lago. During this press conference, it was like 30 minutes long, he suggested taking Greenland and the Panama Canal with military force, taking Canada with economic force, and unleashing hell on Gaza, or allowing hell to be unleashed. That doesn't sound very anti-war. And when you look on the Truth Socials and everywhere else, it's people defending it, memes about all of the Americas in an American flag. They kind of seem to be just lining up behind whatever he says. I just am not seeing what you're seeing.
And, and that's a good point. Like, I just covered, like, hopefully, I don't know when you're going to be watching this. It might be posted after this or whatever. But I did an entire video of covering Trump wanting to take Canada, then take Greenland, and we already know he's gonna flatten the rest of Gaza. Like, that's a given, you know. But like, you have people like Ben Shapiro. Say he's smart or not, okay? People like Ben Shapiro defending Trump. Hey, well, technically, like, you know, we really don't know if Greenland belongs to Denmark, and, you know, blah, blah, and technically, historically, like, you know, it really belongs to no one, so it could belong to America. No, hey, wake up, Cenk. That's not how that works. And then what's going to happen, people like Ben Shapiro and all, trust me, they got a whole entire lineup of Ben Shapiros out there that's going to continue to push the narrative that somehow, some way, in some magical 8-ball, that Greenland somehow belongs to America or belongs to nobody, so it's really up for grabs. And then people are going to be like, yeah, I mean, yeah, isn't it true that Greenland really belongs to America and we just, like, lent it out to them or something, and they couldn't pay their bill, so we're taking it back? Something like that. People will believe anything at this point. So, hey, Cenk, please explain.
Seem to be just lining up behind whatever he says. I just am not seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah, David, that's exactly it. Because I dove in more, I'm seeing something that others aren't, and that's why I understand the skepticism.
But am I wrong about the reaction to yesterday's crazy tirade?
You're halfway wrong. Yeah,
I'm halfway. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I know I'm out on a limb here because believing that the right wing is going to turn on Trump on specific issues where they have disagreement when they've never done it before, I get that I'm taking a risk by saying that they're going to do that, right?
I question whether there is disagreement.
There is. So that's what I'm saying. So, and we're all going to find out with our own eyes and ears if I'm right or wrong, right? And you've seen me go out ahead of people before, right? Where I said in 2013, I said Bernie could beat Hillary Clinton 3 years before he had that historic run. I said Biden was too old and couldn't possibly win, etc. So now I'm saying, yeah, I see that disagreement. So, for example, on what you mentioned, just like I said, Trump in the beginning goes to serve his donors. And so he goes, oh, yeah, Miriam, like the Palestinians aren't slaughtered enough. I'll slaughter them even more, right? As long as you keep the money coming, right? And he engages in his fantasies about buying Greenland or invading in Panama, etc. So the first reaction that folks are going to have is we're defending Trump. And especially when the left attacks him, no, he doesn't mean invading Greenland. He means buying Greenland. He doesn't mean this, he means that. So will you get tons of that, 80% of that? Yes, right? And it's not quite 50-50. But do I see the 20% that is going, no, you're right. We didn't say invade any countries. We said anti-war. So that kernel already exists and we're not even at day one. And when he actually, and the number one thing they say is, guys, cut it out. He's obviously bluffing, right? And you're hurting his chances of bluffing when you say that he's definitely not going to do it, right? So, if he goes to invade Greenland, he will definitely lose half his base. That is mental, right? And they are.
So I don't know, honestly. And once again, I think when we don't have clear data on like how much is his base and blah blah, like you can easily make up any number to support your argument, your claim. Obviously, my opinion is if he invaded Greenland on day one when he gets into office, he's not going to lose half of his base. He'll probably lose 10% of his base, because they're going to see this as a win in a weird way. I mean, they don't even care about the Palestinian people getting slaughtered for little to no reason. So what makes you think they're going to care if Trump takes another piece of land? And like I said, he's going to have his social media dummies out there creating a narrative to where people can digest and believe and be like, I mean, I hate that it had to go this way, but like, they had it coming. They had this coming for years and years and years. Don't you remember when Trump said, and Ben Shapiro said, and Candace Owens said, and Fox News, they said they do this with COVID. They did this with January 6th, even though we seen it with our own eyes. What did Stephen Colbert said? Like almost 30% of Americans think that it was overhyped and overplayed by media, and it wasn't a big deal. I'm just saying, like we're operating as if people are all just working on common sense, which that was my first mistake. Like, you know what? Like, people are not that dumb. Hey, it just took me less than a year to understand people are that dumb, and even more, like even more. So
are actually anti-war. So, but that's not going to happen because he's not going to do that. He's bluffing, right? But look, this is where I think the rubber hits the road, and this is now I'm really out on a limb. Okay. I think his base is going to turn on Israel, and so when he goes, yeah, no, I'm going to give Israel another $30 billion, and I'm going to help them bomb more countries. At some point, MAGA is going to go, now that's enough, brother, man. That's enough. We said America first, not Israel first. And so I think they're going to turn on that. And that's the right wings never turned on Israel. The left wings never really turned on Israel. No one's allowed to turn on Israel in America. But
once again, being a little disingenuous, because first off, you're against Israel. I mean, you're part of the left wing, right? I'm against Israel. Hey, guess what? I'm a part of the left wing. I am a progressive. I mean, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, I am a socialist Democrat, but okay, whatever. Cori Bush, who lost her seat because of AIPAC, Jamal Bowman, I mean, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Bernie's. What are you talking about? And I'm pretty sure the list obviously goes, I can't name everyone, don't know everyone's name like that, but hey, don't. And this is that weirdness where people put both parties into the same pot. No, can we be a little bit more intellectually honest when having this conversation? No, I'm sorry. That's a false equivalence. Flag on the field, okay? Hey, do better.
When you tell the right wing you're not allowed to do something, okay, let's see what happens. So again, we'll see. I get that I'm predicting unprecedented things, but I'm doing that based on what I'm actually seeing on the ground.
Listen, my best assessment in having reviewed all of the evidence and in talking to you here is I think it's clear you're not doing a Dave Rubin. I think your heart's in the right place. I think retrospectively, here's my prediction. I'm not big on predictions. I think in a few years you'll say, I was a little naive with my expectations. And I could be wrong, you could be wrong, we don't know. I think if there's a fault here, we've seen, you're right, it's been a long time. And for 8-9 years, almost 10 years now, since Trump came down the escalator and said Mexicans are rapists, the highest value has been they ultimately do support whatever Trump wants. They don't really care about free speech or freedom or family values or money in politics. That's what we've seen for the last 9.5 years. I hear you saying it's going to change, but we are on the same page that it hasn't been that way, right? I think that part we do agree on.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, look, I could list you dozens of examples where they say they're against cancel culture, and then they'll say, "Well, we should cancel them," right?
Yes.
Like, I mean, look, but to be fair, the Democrats did the same thing. We're against cancel culture, but if you criticize Israel on a college campus, we're going to arrest you and take away your diploma. That sounds like cancel culture to me, right? So, I mean,
Once again, why are we just adding all Democrat? Oh my God. Okay, you know what? I gotta lig it. I gotta lig it. I gotta let it go. Okay. Save it for another video.
but I can give you dozens of other examples. Oh, you're protesting oil companies, pipelines. We're going to pass a law in Florida that says we could run you over in our cars, right? I mean, it doesn't get any more cancel culture than murdering someone with your cars because they protested an oil company, right? So, and freedom of speech, they take away freedom of speech all the time. So I totally agree that the last 9.5 years, they have not shown what I am seeing that they're going to do in the future. And I totally agree with you, David, that we're going to come back 2-3 years from now and see how this went, and see, hey, was I right that there was this, that their composition had changed and they were more open to a rebellion against Trump and actually had a mind of their own as opposed to being in a cult for Trump. And I get if you're on the left that you're like, no way, they're in a cult, etc. But guys, remember, we all live in bubbles. The Trump people have been in a massive bubble for a long time, right?
Yes.
But we've also been in a bubble, and our bubbles.
Nah. Time out. Yes and no. Because there is a lot of intellectual people on the left that to get information, to combat misinformation, you have to understand the misinformation that they're throwing out. So in order to get that, you have to understand, you have to listen, you have to read what they say, you have to see the interviews. Like myself, I spend countless of hours every single day listening to the Ben Shapiro's, listening to the Candace Owens, listening to Fox News, which I have to limit that because I will do self-harm to myself if I hear too much of it. And I know there's a lot of other people that don't have YouTube channels that do that too. Because in order to be informed, you have to listen. And that's what MAGA and a lot of Republicans don't do. They're not informed. So they don't listen to nothing else. So that's why when you're in a bubble, to prove that if you're in a bubble, you're misinformed on a lot of political awareness. And that's what Republicans miss, is that political awareness of these conversations that we're having. But a lot of leftists people, they go into those conversations. They have those conversations. So therefore, they kind of know the talking points. They kind of understand the mindset of a, I almost said some things, of a misinformed Republican voter.
Says if you disagree with any of us 5%, we kick you out of that bubble and we call you a racist and a fascist and every word in the dictionary. And then we go, oh my God, how did we lose the popular vote? Well, you lost the popular vote because you pushed everyone out.
Yep.
Okay. And
no denying that. I'm with you 110% on that. That's for sure.
Yeah. And MAGA, when they hear me say things that they didn't even, you know that MAGA doesn't realize we're anti-corruption. The left is anti-corruption. They don't even realize the left is anti-war because Kamala Harris was like, Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney are my best friends. I'm going to go on a college campus tour with them, right? So the establishment is pro-war, and the Democratic Party, unfortunately, has become more establishment, right? So they look at it and they're super surprised that the left thinks is anti-war, anti-corruption, and all these things, right? When I talk to them about paid family leave, Patrick Bet-David polled his audience. 75% of his audience said yes, paid family leave. 12 weeks off for moms after they have a baby. That's arguably a conservative principle. I think it's a giant progressive principle. We know it's a giant progressive principle, but that's where the unity can come. But you can't pass any of these things or even have hope of passing any of these things if you tell the people who are in charge, who won the popular vote, we're going to hate all of you. We're never going to work with you. We're never even going to talk to you. So we have no hope of ever winning those votes back, because you can't win them back if you're not talking to them, right? So but we don't live in a bubble. No, we also live in a bubble, and our bubble needs to be burst, because we've unfortunately, some portion of the left has stopped being open-minded. And what I say on Young Turks all the time is, our community is open-minded and open-hearted, right? We're trying to do the right thing, and we're trying to get there no matter what. And what I would ask all of you is eyes on the prize. The prize is policy. If you pass policy, you improve actual people's lives. If you don't, all of us in media and politics are just playing ego games. Who's bigger, who's this, who's more pure, who's the one that represents blah, 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 blah. That's all about ego. But actually getting policy passed affects your life. And you're not going to get policy passed going into your little bubble and calling everyone outside the bubble a fascist.
All right, and they're done. See, I told you he's going to do a lot of talking, okay? But two things. One, like I said, if you don't care about information, you have no incentives to find that information. I'm sorry, like, we don't have magical powers to where we put stats and statistics in front of their face and make them read it out loud and then rehearse it and then write us a summary of what they've read. We can't do that. And if they're tuned into just Fox News, they're not going to tell people the statistics that a lot of Republican and Democratic voters align with. It is more than just paid family leave. It's a lot of crucial things that a lot of progressives try to push. Like, it's obvious. One thing that Jill Stein said, that was on point, as weird and as broken as that party is. Like, one thing she did say is, you don't have to convince people of these things. Like, they already know. You just have to let them know that there's more options. You don't have to convince, hey, don't you need better quality jobs? Do you need higher wages? Do you need affordable health care? Do you need affordable education? They already know this. Trump supporters already know this. It's just that they're so brain broken and so detached from reality, they can't see their self-interest before the fear-mongering and the hate that has been provided to them. Because it's easier to blame somebody else than to actually have to think about policy. It's, and one, my last point here, I like how, once again, Mark Lamont Hill, he did a great job saying, you know what? I don't think you're grifting. I just think you're, extremely misguided based off of no facts, no historical facts, but good luck. Same David Pakman. I've been watching him for maybe 4 years. Hey, I don't think you're grifting. I just think you're wrong. And in 4 years, we're going to be back here saying that, hey, you were wrong, which is my same position until proven otherwise, But once again, guys, if you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below or hit that Discord button so me and you can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.